Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic, and boy do we have more news for you. News concerning two of WWE's sideline superstars, actually. The first concerning Daniel Bryan. Now, Bryan was talking recently to the New Jersey Devils All Access podcast. That's an NHL hockey team. I don't know what relevance that has to pro wrestling, but considering it was a hockey podcast, he was very, very honest about his chances of returning to the ring. He said there's an 85% chance of him returning to wrestling at some point in the future, but only a 15% chance of that being in a WWE ring. Now, if you really crunch those numbers like we did back at school in mathematics, that means essentially, if we look at the two pieces of data he's given us, that means that he's more likely of returning on the independent scene than he is in WWE. Low chance of it being in a WWE ring, high chance of him returning to wrestling overall. It's simple, quick maths. Now, assuming this is all true and that Bryan's health would be fine were he to return to the ring, I'd personally prefer him to return to the independent scene. I mean, he was a legend in Ring of Honor. Think of the matchups that could happen now in modern day Ring of Honor were he to go back there. Or, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Think of the guys he could have unbelievable matches with over there. The key problem, however, is that those promotions tend to work a more hard-hitting, stiff, strong style than we are used to seeing in WWE. Also, Bryan hasn't wrestled on the independent circuit for a number of years now. Well, he's not wrestled at all for a number of years. He's not wrestled outside of WWE for even longer. Would his body be able to adjust to those styles, especially given the recuperation process he's been through over the past goodness knows how long? However, Bryan was a little cautious. He did say that despite the 85% chance of him returning to the ring, that 15% was there because if the results came back and said you really shouldn't return to wrestling, he'd say, sorry wrestling, it is his number one passion and everything, but he'd say, sorry wrestling, my daughter comes first, his family would come first. Now on to news regarding someone who is likely to return to a WWE ring. That is former Divas champion Paige, who has implied via a Snapchat story posted by her friend Jenna that she is now single and that her relationship with Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto Patron as he's known on the independent scene, is now over and she is single once more. The video, which you can see over at Pro Wrestling Sheet, is basically just a short video of Paige in a bar, stood some distance in front of a couple in the background who are getting it on, crazy teenagers, and she says to the camera, "This is why I'm single." Seems pretty straightforward. If she is being serious and not just joking around, that would imply that her relationship with Del Rio is indeed over. Now, as we all know, that has been a very controversial relationship. There were allegations of domestic abuse. There was that whole public spat at Orlando Airport where the police got involved. It's not a short-term story. Their relationship first went public back in May, I believe, of 2016. Then footage had emerged of Paige proposing to Del Rio in the ring at an independent wrestling show in October 2016. But if this is to be the end of their relationship, you have to say that it's kind of an appropriate time for it to happen, because it's an end to all the kind of controversy and drama surrounding it, especially at a crucial time when Paige has been cleared to return to the ring, as she was in September. For his part, Alberto hasn't commented on this story, but it's also a key time in his career as well. He's recently returned to Impact Wrestling after a recent suspension earlier this year. Were Paige to return to WWE soon, as we think she may well, Del Rio himself even said last week that she could be a few days away from a return. That would be a huge boost to WWE's women's division. She's one of the most popular superstars on the roster, and crucially, one of the most marketable as well. And finally, Impact Wrestling wrestler, or former Impact Wrestling wrestler, James Storm, could be returning to WWE. He, of course, spent a very short stint in NXT before leaving and going back to Impact. But now it looks as though his time with the company is over, which has been officially announced, and his next destination is rumoured to be WWE itself. Will he go back into NXT? Will he just go straight onto the main roster? And crucially, this is the question I'm asking, will Bobby Roode be involved? The pair were one of the most popular tag teams in Impact history, beer money, and there is definitely a lot of kind of previous history between the two that WWE could draw upon for storylines if they so wish, as they did, for example, with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's all for now. Thank you for watching this news piece. I've been Jack from Cultaholic. Follow me on Twitter at JackTheJobber. Follow all of us at Cultaholic. Am I supposed to say Cultaholic or Cultaholic.com? Because I've noticed Pachiti has been saying .com in recent. I'll give him a text. Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon. You can become a patron if you enjoy what we do and want to support us. There's a system of tiered rewards which you can check out on our website. And there's not much more to say. Thank you very much for watching. And don't forget, never ever forget, to join us.